All right, hey folks. So today's video is going to be about Ramadan, which is the Muslim month of fasting. Now, right from the off, I want to say this is not a political video. Okay, I know that our community isn't always the most accepting of other or different cultures and faiths. We've seen that in the past, but this is not a political video. So if you feel like this subject gets you angry, gets you upset, gets your blood boiling, go watch another video. Leave those types of comments and remarks out of the comment section. That's not what this video is about. This is an informational video. I have some clients who are Muslim, and I figured an explanation video for what they're in store for over the course of next month is going to be useful for them. If it's not your cup of tea, just switch off. Sucks that I have to even have that disclaimer, but I feel like I do. So anyway, what is Ramadan? So first of all, just to give you a bit of background, if you are interested, if you're here to learn, Ramadan is roughly about a month where Muslims around the world, they don't eat or drink for the periods of sunrise to sunset. So basically all day, just no eating, no drinking. Pretty rough. Hey, Mohammed, want to go for burgers? No, dude, I ain't eating shit today. That's basically how your conversation will go with your Muslim friends over the course of next month. So don't even bother, right? That's the whole deal for the course of next month. Nothing from sunrise to sunset, zilch. No food, no water, no nothing. Now, what I want to speak about in this video is what will mess you up if you're a Muslim adhering to this month. Okay. So I've fasted a lot over the years, like non-religious fasting. I've done up to a 5-day of fasting. That is just basically no food, just water in my case. I've been doing fasting in some form or another since probably 15 years plus, something like that. So I can safely tell you guys, it's not going to be a lack of food that's going to mess you up on your fast. Okay. It won't be food. Like the human body is happy to go without food. It's not the lack of food that's going to mess you up. What's going to mess you up is hydration and sleep. And I'm going to explain why. So yeah, but just rest assured, like the lack of food is not the biggest barrier that you're going to experience over the course of next month if you are a Muslim doing this thing, right? It's going to be the hydration, it's going to be the sleep. So first of all, with regards to hydration, as a baseline, to stay hydrated, to do the activities we want to do, at a baseline, most people need a reasonable amount of water, okay? General guidelines for males involved in a reasonable amount of activity is about 4 liters, right? Now, on top of that, you also want to fulfill your electrolyte needs. Now, again, government guidelines point to about just under 5 grams of potassium. Now, between 2 to 4 grams of sodium, depending on your activity levels and how big you are, also is pretty good, as well as other smaller things like magnesium and calcium, which all help your hydration balance. Now, you get a surprisingly high amount of that from your food. So if you're not eating anything, yeah, that's significantly less electrolytes, significantly less fluids. There's a lot of fluid in food that you eat. So if anyone's ever been on a keto diet, you have to supplement quite heavily with salt, potassium, all sorts, because it's a lot harder to meet the nutrient requirements. Even if you're on a diet, one of the first things you've got to do is drink more, eat, and have more electrolytes to balance things out. Now, just imagine if you're not eating or drinking anything all day. Like, it's a big deficit in your hydration, nutritional intake, right? So a lack of hydration will make you feel awful. That will get you more than a food. That's the first thing that will really mess you up. Now, in terms of the next thing that's going to screw you up, it's sleep. Yeah. So in terms of Ramadan, the deal is with Muslims during Ramadan, you've got to start your fast at 4 o'clock in the morning this year. So how many of you are getting up at 3:30? Like, I get up pretty early. I get up most days 5:30, 6 o'clock, but 3:30, because if the fast starts at 4 o'clock, you've got to get up earlier. You got to make some food, you got to brush your teeth, all that stuff. So you've got to be up at 3 o'clock, let's say. That's pretty early. Now, also on the other end of it, this year the fast opens at about 6 p.m. Okay, so just after 6. So think about how many hours you've got to actually eat and sleep. So in my estimation, let's say you're going to get up at 3 o'clock. Just trying to give you guys some perspective here for you guys, either Muslims or non-Muslims who have not thought about this. But if you're getting up at 3 o'clock to then stop eating at 4. Because the deal is you've got to actually be awake. You can't just sleep through it. That's not part of the rules. If you do, that's not an official fast. So 3, let's say you're getting up at 3, assuming you want about 8 hours of sleep, you've got to be in bed by 7 o'clock, right? You've got to be asleep by 8 at the latest if you're going to get 7 hours of sleep. So you think about it, if the fast opens at 6, you've got to be in bed by 7 if you want to actually fulfill your sleep requirements. That is not much time at all. You get what I'm saying? So there is a problem we see here, and that is you've got very little time to get everything done to maintain your sleep and hydration. So like I said at the beginning, it's not the lack of food which is going to get you. It's the sleep and the hydration. So with that in mind, yeah, let's talk about when to train and also how to fix your diet over the course of next month. So when to train, the temptation is going to be to train after you've eaten. So in the evening, that's the temptation. For a lot of people, they're not going to train at 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. A lot of people are going to want to train directly after they break their fast. So like 7 p.m. But again, when are you going to sleep? Let's run you through this, right? Let's say you open your fast at 6 p.m. Okay. You have a small snack, you drive to the gym, have some water, whatever, right? And you're in the gym for 7 o'clock. You leave the gym at 8 o'clock. You're back home for 8:15. Now you need to eat again because you've only had a small snack. So let's say you eat from 8:30 till 9:30. Okay, now you're going to be in bed at 10 o'clock. If you're really tight on time, in bed at 10 o'clock, up at 3. Congratulations, you just had 5 hours of sleep. Try and keep that up over the course of next month. It's not going to happen. Do you see what I'm saying? The temptation is going to be to train during the time you're eating, but you've got to sleep and you've got to drink. So I don't think that's the greatest idea. I think my advice for you, my Muslim friends and viewers, is to train right before you open your fast. So about 4 p.m., 4:30, 5 o'clock maybe, something like that. Train right before you are due to open your fast. Now, most people want to be at home when they open their fast, which is fine. But if you can swing it, train out just the last minute, maybe open your fast at the gym with a protein shake or on the drive back, and then have some food with your family. If you don't want to do, that's fine. Just train a little bit earlier, maybe 4 o'clock, get your training out of the way, get home, then open your fast with your family. At least then you've got a reasonable couple of hours to eat, to drink, and then just go to bed. Because let's face it, 2 hours to eat an entire day's worth of food, it's still not a lot. You've got to eat, you've got to drink. Again, the hydration thing. And you don't want to hydrate too close to going to bed because, well, you're going to be up weeing all night. That's the other thing. So if you actually do drink a lot of fluids, which you're going to have to do, it's all going to go through you. You're going to have to go to the toilet. So again, your sleep's going to be interrupted. Just another reason to try and optimize your sleep this month. Yeah, I really think that's the best way to go. The other possible alternative is if you have got a 24-hour gym, go to the gym first thing in the morning after you've started your fast. That's the other thing. But I definitely would not recommend doing it after you've opened your fast. But the other thing is, if you've not eaten all day and you have a meal, the last thing you're going to want to do is go out and train. You're probably going to want to just lie down and chill because finally your body's just turned on all the endorphins. You're relaxed a little bit. So yeah, again, I don't think that's a great idea, but people will disagree with me. I know that I've spoken to one Muslim friend of mine, and that's what he says. He's going to train. He's going to try and train at 7 p.m. Now, I don't think he's thought it through. I don't think he's gone through the time in his head. But I think about these things because my clients have asked me questions about this. So I've thought gone through the timings, and that's just not going to work. As the month goes on, the fast gets longer as well. So you're only going to have less time to sleep. So yeah, that's what I'd say training wise. Now, in terms of the other things you're going to want to watch out for, protein intake. I think the majority of people who open a fast after they've not eaten all day and not drunk all day are probably not going to go for the chicken breast and the protein shakes. They're probably going to go for some carbs. Like traditionally, Muslims open their fast with dates, but that's all carbs and fiber. So you're going to want to try and pack in a reasonable amount of protein. Now, we know from the recent studies, it doesn't matter. The protein timing isn't that important. So if you have a large bolus of protein in the evening and then some in the morning, you're good. Supplement with protein shakes, get it down you, and you'll be fine. that shouldn't affect your muscle building over the course of the month. Let's say your protein requirements are, I don't know, 200 for the day. Maybe you want to try and have about 150 in the evening. Supplement with a big protein shake and then a reasonable breakfast in the morning, and you're good. All right. Prioritize your protein though, because the temptation will be just to eat whatever. And also, the other thing is, mostly during the month of Ramadan, the fasts are opened socially, so with family. Now, social eating is always a little bit more relaxed than just functional eating when you're on your own or you're with your partner. So it's more of an occasion than it normally is. The temptation is not going to be to go for the chicken breast, the protein shakes, the beef, the lamb, all that in excess. The temptation is going to be to go for the carbs. So avoid that temptation. And lastly, as I alluded to at the beginning, try to fulfill your salt, potassium, magnesium, calcium requirements as best you can over the course of the day. So yeah, those are my rough guidelines. So to summarize, it's not going to be the lack of food that gets you. Like, it's going to be the hydration and the sleep. And I think you'll be best off training right before you eat in the evening so that you actually have time to eat, sleep, and drink, because you don't have a great deal of time from the hours of roughly 6 to 3 when you have to get up again. All right, folks, hopefully that was helpful. And yeah, we'll continue on with the rest of the schedule this week. Peace out. Take care. And Ramadan Mubarak to all you guys and girls.